Hi everybody, Carla with Carla's Clever Crafts back to do another video. Today we're going to be making a Deco Mesh and ribbon wreath with this cute little pet sign. It's the red heart, it's got the cute little paw print. These are available in my Etsy shop, and I've included a link on the video to make it simple for you to find it. It does come with a little hanger, so the sign can be used by itself. But today we're going to actually remove the hanger and use this to make a beautiful wreath to represent our love for our pets in our life. Also wanted to mention that this beautiful Mardi Gras wreath behind me back here is the one we made in my last live video. So if anybody's interested in learning how to make that, you can go to my Facebook page at Carla's Clever Crafts, all spelled with a K, all one word, and you would be able to find the video showing you how to make that. I'm going to preview my next live too because I'm pretty excited about it. We have these cute little gnome dolls, boy and girl, couple set, bumblebee. I'm going to dive into some summer. So probably sometime later today we'll be videoing how to make a wreath using these cute little gnome dolls. Okay, so let's lay those to the side. And we'll get started here. Want to remind everybody, it really helps me a lot as I'm just starting out on my videos and just getting started with YouTube, Facebook, and building my business that way. If anybody, if you could like and share this video, follow my page on Facebook at Carla's Clever Crafts. I would really appreciate it. I'm also on YouTube. The business name is the same on YouTube at Carla's Clever Crafts. Additionally, if any of you are Instagram or Twitter people, I am also on those social websites as well. Twitter is Clever Crafts, spelled with a K, all one word, and then Instagram is at Carla's Clever Crafts. Okay, so I've removed the string from the sign. We are using again a 14-inch wire base. This came from the Dollar Tree. I already have it wired with the pipe cleaners. They do not come with these, so you have to add them. My previous videos, I show how to actually do the wiring of the frame, and I'm going to also be doing an upcoming video that is just for learning how to wire the frame and get started cutting your mesh and your ribbons. So on here I have already started adding our first layer of the red Deco Mesh and a few of the ribbons. I'm going to show you how I did that by completing the other side. So we're going to start with our mesh. Each of these are this really pretty red and white. First want to mention that I purchased this as craftoutlet.com if you want to get some and make this wreath yourself. It's very beautiful, shiny. Each piece is cut to 16 to 17 inches long, and we're going to use the crumple method to roll our mesh and apply it to our wreath frame. So we're going to fold over one time and then just roll it 2, 3, 4. I use these little clips I get from the Dollar Tree. I think you get 5 in a pack, and they're not in the craft section. They're actually over where the kitchen stuff is because they're bag clips and things to keep your bag sealed. Just turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. Get a nice roll, so you end up with this, a roll on each end. Then you're going to flip it completely over so the curls are face side down, and then we're going to just scrunch in the middle in small sections, pulling it towards us to create like an accordion effect. Pinch the two sides together and you end up with what looks like a bow. Okay, so we're going to lay it in between the pipe cleaner now. Finished edge to the inside, this finished edge to the outside. It's important to do that way because we're going to actually, when we do our next layer of mesh, it's going to lay the opposite way, and doing that helps us achieve a fuller look and it guarantees coverage of our entire wireframe. Okay, so we'll do one more. Again, we just fold over the edge, a small piece, I would say probably about a ½ inch, and then roll 2, 3, 4. And when you're rolling your curls, make sure that you keep your hands so that you're keeping these edges out on the end here tucked under to get a roll. Otherwise, when you apply it to your frame, you're going to end up with your cut edges sticking out if you don't get those tucked underneath good. Okay, so we put our clip and then we turn it around. Do the same thing on the other side. And this is where I kind of hold this down out here to guarantee that as I'm rolling, that I'm keeping the outside edges tucked under. And then we turn it over completely with the curled sides down and scrunch towards us. That gives us our ruffle effect. Okay. And I put the pipe cleaners in there and I squeeze them pretty tight and snug to keep them from moving and give it sturdiness on the frame. If you're watching, it's hard for me to know unless you leave me a comment to let me know that you're there. So anybody that's there, please say hi or something so that I know who's watching. Try to get my comments pulled up real quick. At first, when you're learning to do this process, if you've not done it previously, you're a little bit slow with it, but it certainly gets faster. The more practice you have, the faster you will get at completing these. This type of wreath takes me probably between an hour and a half from complete start to finish, including cutting my mesh, my ribbons. My computer's not cooperating very good today. I'm not sure if I mentioned also when I squeeze it down and they're pretty tight, I give it 2 good twists. I don't twist too much because we're going to add ribbon on top of that and twist again. As soon as my computer starts to work, hopefully I'll be able to see the comments. Seems to be having trouble loading today. One more. We want to fix this mesh and make sure that everything is layering in the same direction. So push this piece to the right underneath the piece to the left and pull up our last pipe cleaner. I finally got my computer to where it's going to work. 3, 4. put our clip. One, two, three, keeping the edges tucked under. 4, flip it over, scrunch down the middle. And the scrunching gives us this nice little ruffled effect on the edges. Point the camera down just a little more. Sure. Is that better? Okay, and again, we're going to make sure that this piece of mesh to the right overlaps the piece to your left so that it's uniform and everything is laying in the same way. And then I have added a couple ribbon tails here, but I'm going to go over the process of laying these in. And quickly, I wanted to recap for you this type of wreath, the one we're making today, what you need to do this. So you will need a total of 18 pieces of the mesh cut to 16 to 17 inches. So you need 18 of these because we're going to do both layers of mesh using the same mesh this time. And then you are going to need 6 pieces. We're using this really pretty paw print, red with paw print and bones. And you need 6 of those cut to 12 inches each. And then we're also going to match up that with this cute pink and red Valentine's Day. It has various hearts and it says love on it in red and white colors on a pink background. And then you're going to need 6 pieces of the red ribbon cut to 12 inches. And then you need 3 more pieces cut to 6 inches each. And I will show you why we need those here very shortly. And then we're also, the last one will be this solid pink. We're going to use it. We will also need 6 of these cut to 12 inches and 3 more cut to 6 inches. And then that is it as far as what you need for the ribbon and the mesh. And then on the bottom layer here, we're going to first put in our red and pink, the solid. And I do start, we alternate. I'm going to start with a 6-inch pink and then a 6-inch red. This is what I've already done. Then we're going to do a 12-inch pink and a 12-inch red. And I'll explain to you in just a minute why we switch that. Then we go back to 6-inch pink, 6-inch red, and now we're ready for a 12-inch pink. We're just going to keep rotating that all the way around the base. So lay your ribbon out, your 12-inch piece, you're just going to scrunch it down the middle and pull that back towards you to make like a V. And it will look like this. When you get ready to lay it in, just put it in your pipe cleaner and give it a few good twists. Now this is the only thing, this piece of ribbon is the only thing that's going to go in this pipe cleaner, so I'm going to go ahead and snip off the ends. I push the end down in and give it a little squeeze just to give security to my ribbon and my mesh that I've attached inside that pipe cleaner. And then I fluff up my ribbon and I'm ready to do my next one. So now we're back to the 12-inch red. Do the same process, scrunch it down the middle, V it back towards you, and then place it inside of the next pipe cleaner. This red ribbon that I'm using is a mesh ribbon. It is a little more difficult to work with than like your fabric ribbons. Now we are back to the 6-inch pink. So we have our 6-inch pink. Didn't show you how to dovetail. So on this piece of ribbon, we're going to scrunch on the straight edge, but each of my ribbons that have, I think you probably noticed, have the V in the end. I'll go over how to do that real quick. You just fold your piece of ribbon in half. You will cut starting from the folded edge at an angle up to the wired edge or the open edge. And by doing that, when you cut that and open it up, you have this nice little V shape. So when we do the 6-inch pieces to put them in the wreath, we're going to scrunch along the straight edge because we want more ribbon to attach inside of our pipe cleaner, and then we want to make sure that our pretty dovetail ends are the ones displaying. Twist that in real good. Now I'm not going to cut the pipe cleaners where the 6-inch pieces are because we're going to be adding more ribbon into there. So now we need a 6-inch red. Same thing, the straight edge, not the dovetailed edge. Scrunch it and put it inside the pipe cleaner or chenille stem. Pull that pretty snug. Fluff it to get it to lay the way you want. And then we are back to the 12-inch pink. Lay it out straight. The 12-inch, we have a dovetail on both ends because both ends are going to be visible. Scrunch it down the middle. Pull it back towards you. Place it in at that V-shaped angle. Fluff it up, get it to lay the way you want. And now we're not putting anything else in this one, so we can cut that off. Push the ends down inside and give them a nice little squeeze. And then finally, one more piece of the 12-inch red, dovetailed at both ends. All of your 12-inch pieces should be dovetailed at both ends because when we V those back, we're placing them in so that both ends show. I also wanted to mention that if you catch this video on a replay, if you could leave me a comment that just says replay so that I know you watched it, I would greatly appreciate it, and would also appreciate any feedback that you might have for me on things I could do differently or things you would like to see. Okay, so now we are going to work on our heart ribbon and our paw print ribbon. I'm going to place, I have 3 each here, and we're going to place them on top of the 6-inch pieces that we put in. And the reason that I do 6 inches as opposed to 12 inches all the way around is because when you do the 12-inch piece, you lose a lot of your ribbon underneath all of your layers and your finished product, so you don't really see all of those. And I prefer to do this 6-inch piece because I can have this coming straight out, and then I can V these to have them going like this, and all pieces of my ribbon will show in my final product. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pink. We have one that is pink and one that is mostly red, and then we also have pink and red in our base ribbon. So I'm going to put this pink over top of the red and the red over top of the pink to evenly display the various colors throughout the whole wreath. So the pink heart, same way, scrunch it down the middle, V it back towards us, and we're going to place that over top of the red. now we're done with that. So we clip it off, tuck it in, and fluff our ribbons. Now to show you what I meant, here we have the red that we put in coming straight out, and then we have bead these two around the red, so now you can see all three of those ribbons. None of it is lost underneath the other ribbons. So now we do the red, really cute paw print dog bone ribbon. V it just like the others and put it over top of the pink. Give it a few real good twists. Snip it off. When I snip it off, I leave probably about a ½ inch there to tuck down and squeeze to create security. Now we're going to go around, skip the two 12-inch pieces that we did and go back to the 6-inch. The pink one is first. I did those first two backwards. So we need the red again to go over the pink. Just a reminder, these are 12-inch pieces dovetailed at both ends. Also, I am making sure to keep this heart pattern all runs in one direction, so I'm making sure to keep those hearts going in the same direction when I apply them on. We want to try to avoid having upside down hearts on our final product. And then we have one more set to do on these two 6-inch pieces here. Let me show real quick. Now on the paw print and the dog bone, you can see they're going in opposite directions. So when you place those in, it's not the same as the heart pattern where they're all facing the same direction. There's really no upside down to the paw print ribbon. Oops. Goes on the pink. Okay, and our final one is the heart, keeping our hearts going the same direction as we did all the others. Okay, and now we're ready to move on to our next layer of Deco Mesh. To do that, when we wire the frame, we are left with 6 pipe cleaners on the inside, 2 wires. We only filled in the outside, the 12 pipe cleaners on the outside, 2 wires so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these pipe cleaners from the inside to the outside so that we can then keep layering around the wreath with the next layer of mesh. So to do that, you just reach in between these 2 pieces of mesh and just pull them out to the outside. Same thing with this one. Just reach in and pull it out. Okay, I'm going to do that all the way around. And we only have 6 of them, so this part doesn't take very long. Okay, and now we are ready to do 6 more cruffles to add to the top. Doing these the exact same way, and these pieces of mesh are cut also to 16 to 17 inches length. Now, I kind of mentioned previously, but I'm going to do a separate video on wiring the base frame and cutting the mesh and cutting the ribbon tails and how to do that, including how to dovetail them. So I think it would be easier to have one video out there giving instruction for that rather than repeating it with every design that I do. That way in those videos I can just focus on the design. Okay, now this time, our last pieces of mesh, we put the finished edge to the inside and outside. This time we're going to rotate that, and we're going to put the finished edges to the right and to the left. This is what will give us full coverage, where you will not see any part of the wireframe underneath. And then that is what it looks like after we place it in. Remember to use your fingers to keep those outside edges curled under as you're rolling. Just as a reminder, we're rolling the edges, we're rolling the curls in 4 times. So 4 half turns, I guess it would be. So fold it over as 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see little pieces of the mesh falling off. That is called fraying and is very normal. It will not affect your end result. One of the reasons that we do the curl and make sure that we keep those under is to prevent fraying. If we were to leave the loose cut edges out, then it would continue to fray over time. So we tuck those underneath to protect them. And give us a nice finished polished look. And I'll just adjust them so that they lay nicely next to each other, up against each other. I think I forgot to do this one. Got my glue pot on because we're going to actually use that today. This one and then one more, and we will will be done with the third layer on our wreath. Always make sure and adjust my ribbon tails underneath as I'm applying this layer of mesh too. If they get moved around or they're covered up or you can't see them, I just adjust them so that they're all laying, so that they're part of the display or the end result. I just want to mention quickly, when you're adding this layer of the mesh, don't pull this too tight because then you'll sink it down in and you'll lose your mesh down in the frame and you won't get the nice thick fullness. This wreath, when it's finished, measures about 5 to 6 inches thick, and then it is 24 inches in diameter from one side of the mesh to the other side of the mesh. So that's pretty good that we start with a 14-inch frame and we end up with an overall 24-inch wreath. Very nice and visible on your door. Okay, now we're gonna add our last row of the ribbons using the same ones, all 12-inch pieces this time. We're gonna keep the pattern the same. So the pink will go with the red, and the red will go with the pink. Now, I was saying that this Deco Mesh ribbon, or mesh ribbon, is harder to work with. You can see it wants to do its own thing. It curls really nicely. It's a little bit, it's like a hard plastic, so you really got to kind of manipulate it to get it to work with you. I like it though because I like the overall look. I like that it's see-through, and it gives us more visibility of the things that we've layered underneath. Okay, so to do the top layer of ribbon, we do it a little bit differently. Instead of making a V this time, we're going to make an X. We just crisscross them. Remember, again, on the heart pattern, to keep them facing the same way. And you're going to just scrunch up the middle from this side to this side where the ribbons meet, and pull it down together. You end up with an X. Then you just open up your pipe cleaner and place it in, giving it a couple good little twists. And I'm not going to cut these off because we are going to actually add something to them this time on this video. So we're going to give a little extra adornment to our finished product. And we're going to actually just incorporate those pipe cleaners in to do it. Okay, so now we need to do the red and the pink, paw print and the pink. Same way, make an X, scrunch from one side to the other side down the middle. Again, have an X, and then place that in the next one. And you're just alternating your pattern so that you have your hearts and your paw prints evenly distributed around the wreath. I just push the inside of the ribbon out down there next to the pipe cleaner to give it a curl. Really struggling with this piece. And then curl out the ends to wrap around the mesh. Something like that. Okay. Oops, wrong one. And you could certainly substitute ribbons. You don't have to use the red mesh. If you had a different red that you wanted to use, you could substitute that. Same with the pink. Doesn't have to be that exact ribbon. As long as it coordinates with your other ribbons and your sign. Any ribbon would be fine. And heart patterns and paw prints as well. If you have a different paw print pattern, just as long as it matches your sign and the rest of the materials you're using, you could design it any way you want it to. Really quickly, I wanted to mention that in addition to the sign being available in my shop, this wreath will also be available in my shop. I think I have the materials to make one more, maybe two more of these. So if you're interested in purchasing one as opposed to making your own, feel free to do that. There's a link to my Etsy shop on this video. Again, I would mention, because it really helps me out, even if you're watching on replay, to like my video and share it. Leave me any comments with questions, suggestions, or anything, or remember to type replay just to let me know that you've watched it on replay. I really greatly appreciate the help. I'm just getting my page started, so it all really means a lot. If you have ideas that you would like to see in a future video, let me know that as well, so I can kind of gear what I'm doing towards things that you would like to see. Okay, this is our last set of ribbons. Just fluff those ribbon tails out. Make them lay and look the way you want them to. Okay, and this is what we have so far. Pretty little hearts and paw prints. Lots of red and pink. Okay, so next we're going to add our sign. I prefer to attach, I use wire to attach my signs. I get the 20, I think it's 26 gauge, yes, from the Dollar Tree. It's floral wire, and I like to do a hole in the top center and a hole in the bottom. So I'm going to use, this is a metal hole punch, purchased at Amazon. I'm going to use that to put a hole in the bottom. I like this hole punch because it's small. The hole that it puts in is very tiny, and so it's not really visible whenever you use it. And that is also why I like to use this wire, because in the end result it's not going to show in my design. Okay, and then I'm just going to go right here in the middle of the heart and put another one. Now, because this sign came with the hanger, it does have the holes at the top. I'll show you in a second if I can get this out. Oh, really stuck in there. There we go. Because it does come with the hanger, it does have these two holes at the top. So I usually try to hide those using my mesh and my ribbon tails. I don't use them to attach my sign though, because I prefer to sturdy it with the top and the bottom, or side to side, whichever you prefer. So when I cut my wire, I usually cut probably about a good 12-14 inches. It's more than I need, but it makes it easier for me to work it down through the mesh and the ribbon tails to get the sign applied to the wreath frame underneath. Okay, and then put this down in the bottom. My vision is bad, so I don't have to take my glasses off to see up close. Probably need bifocals. Okay. So put it through the hole and then turn your sign. By your sign. If you twist the wire on the edge of the sign here, it makes it more wobbly and it will move around. So we're going to do the same exact process on the top hole. Face down, pull the wire through, even up the ends as best we can, and then crisscross it right over top of the hole and twist over the hole. Okay. Now, find how we want it to sit in here. I'm going to have this sitting with the top layer of mesh kind of around it, so it'll sit down in slightly. You don't want to pull your sign too far down in though, because you lose your design. Then we just need to take these two wires and work them down through the mesh till we get to the wire frame underneath. The wire frame consists of 4 rings, so we want to make sure that we wrap our wire around 2 of those rings. I don't think which 2 is important, but you need 2 for additional stability. Have mine attached to the inside too. I'm going to twist it probably 10, 15 times. You want your sign coming loose, coming off. And then, because the wire's a little bit longer than we need, I'm going to cut off the excess. And then I'm going to take this piece of wire that is left, I have about probably 1.5 to 2 inches here, and wrap it around the wire ring. And we're going to do this so that we can tuck this wire up inside of our form, our wreath form, and not scratch our doors. Okay, now I've twisted it just perfectly to where that is up inside. Now we're going to do the exact same process with the top of the sign. Find your wires, pull them down through the mesh, attach them to 2 of the rings on the bottom. Make sure before you tighten this down you have your sign positioned the way that you want it. And again, I'm attaching to the 2 inside rings on this one. Okay. I like the position of that, so make sure all my tails, my pearls, are out and showing the way I want them to frame around the sign. Okay, now I'm ready to pull it down just slightly and then twist, 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 twist. Now this piece of wire I cut shorter for some reason, not intentionally, so I'm not going to have excess to cut off, and it also makes it much more difficult for me to twist it the number of times that I need. You can still do it, of course, just harder on your hands. Okay, and since we don't have any excess to clip off, we'll just go ahead and wrap it around the ring on the inside until we get that sharp edge up inside so that it doesn't scratch anybody's door. And then we have just a smooth result. Okay, so that's it so far with the sign. It's looking really cute. This has been a popular design this year. Lots of people love their pets, like to celebrate them for Valentine's Day. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do to this wreath is well, actually I think we have 2 things to do to this wreath. We're going to add some glitter hearts, and I'm going to do pink and red. We need 6 of the pink and 6 of the red. And these little glitter hearts came from the Dollar Tree. You get a 24 pack And they're part of the Valentine's Day decor. Our stores are starting to run out of Valentine's Day already, but hopefully in your area you can still find them. Okay, so we've got 6 of each. And this is where we're going to use the pipe cleaners that I said we're not going to cut off just yet. And this, what I have is just a little skewer stick. I'm going to use that to get a little dab of glue, very little. Do not need much glue at all. Dipping it in my skillet. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to the tip of pipe cleaner. Be careful not to stream glue everywhere. And then we're going to take one of the foam hearts. This has a wire in the middle of it, so we're just going to do our best to push this heart onto the wire without bending it. Okay, there we go. I might try this time putting the little dab of glue on the heart. That might make it easier. Okay, so again, just pushing. Ooh, we're going to put this one over here, actually, because I want one red and one pink in each section. Yes, that did make it easier. So put your glue on the heart as opposed to on the pipe cleaner. And then basically what we end up with is like little bobble hearts. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do red on this other one over here. And you do not have to do the glue. I've done this without the glue, but because I'm shipping this to somebody, I've decided to start adding the glue anytime I'm going to be shipping them through the mail. Just slowly push it down on there. You can angle, you can move your pipe cleaners and angle them however you want. Just show you real quick what those look like. They look like little bobbles. Okay, so now we need another red. Very, very little glue, just a dab. And push it down on the wire. Okay, and then position them how you want. And go to the next set. I'll show you one without glue to show you that it works. When I do them without glue, I just make sure that I push it further down on. So get it started. You do this part slowly so that you don't bend the wire or the pipe cleaner as you're putting it on, or pull it out like I just did. And as you can see, it works, you know, it's on there pretty good, even without using glue. So if you're making this for yourself, you know, the glue you wouldn't have to do that. Position them. Do our next ones. Okay. Now pink. It seems a little harder to push on when we have the glue on it, so that's why I figured I would show you both ways. Okay, we've got 2 more to go. Stronger glue that time. I probably will also reposition these cards, re-angle them when I hang up the sign or the wreath and look at the overall design. I'll decide exactly how I want them to look or to which way I want them to lay. This is the last set. More. And I just use a very tiny dab of glue. Make sure your glue is not too hot because you will get it on your fingers pushing these down on there. So you want to make sure it's just a little bit so that it's not dripping, and then make sure your glue isn't too hot so you don't burn yourself. Okay, and this is what it looks like with all of our little hearts added. And final result. And they're just little baubles. Really just a little cute addition. And then this is actually for a customer. And the customer asked that I add a set of lights for her. So I figure I'd go ahead and show you how I do lights when that is requested. When my Etsy shop, all of my wreaths, well, all of my Valentine's Day wreaths, and I'm in the process of adding the option to all of my other wreaths, have the option to add either 1 set of lights, 2 sets of lights, or no lights. And I did it that way because not everybody wants lights, so that way the customer can choose. Okay, so these are the LED wire lights. This particular set came from the Dollar Tree. There's 12 lights on each one, and that's what the box looks like. Our area presently is sold out of these. They're from the floral and garden section. The clerks told me that all the crafters bought them up, so I wasn't able to get any more recently. But hopefully in your area you'll have a different situation. Okay, to add these, we're going to use pipe clean or zip ties. These I buy in bulk from Amazon, so get quite a few of these. I believe this particular size is 6-inch. Yes, these are 6-inch, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull out like 6 or 7, 8. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need. And because this is a 24-inch wreath and she only wanted 1 set of lights, I'm going to keep the focus of the lights in the middle around the sign. If I have a customer who wants 2 sets of lights, then I weave that in and out of the mesh to get it, around the outside as well. But in this case, I'm going to focus, mostly right here around the sign to light that up. So I start with the battery box. These take two AA batteries, and they have an on and off switch so that you can save your batteries. And I'm just going to push this down to the bottom to where the wire frame is underneath. And then I take a zip tie. Make sure when you're putting the battery pack on your wreath that you have the screw to open them up and put the batteries in on the outside. I know you guys are commenting, but my computer's not working, so once the video finishes, I'll go back and look at everybody's comments and address any questions. Feel free to message me too if you think of a question after the video. So I'm going to take my zip tie with my screw facing outward so that they can access this to put their batteries in. I'm gonna go right here where this crossbar is, and I'm gonna take my zip tie at an angle across the crossbar because that gives it better security and holds it better. If I put it just right here, it's just gonna slide back and forth. So I put it across this, it won't move, it'll stay in the same spot. So just push your zip tie through there. I'm gonna let go of that for a second. Okay, so now I have this in there. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of wire here, so like it's gonna hang down a little bit. The reason that I do that is so that after the customer puts their batteries in, they can then push this up inside under the mesh, and it will stay in there and be hidden and not rubbing up against their door. So right here, I leave probably, I've got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches there. Tighten the zip tie down so that that won't move, and cut off the excess. Now again, we don't want to scratch anybody's door. The edges of these, the ends of these are very sharp. Take that and twist it up into the inside of the wire so that it will not be against their door and you have a smooth edge. Okay, so now we need to come back here and figure out where our lights start. Bring it up through the mesh. Okay, and my first light is right here. So I am going to go ahead and take a pipe cleaner right here at this, right below this first wire, and I'm going to just attach it to a piece of my mesh. Hold this up and see if you can see. Literally just gonna go right through this mesh. These pipe cleaners are small, they're thin, or I'm sorry, zip ties are small and thin, so you can do that without damaging your mesh, and the lights are very lightweight, so it will hold just fine. It doesn't need a lot of, you know, anything strong to hold to the weight. The heaviest thing is the battery pack, which is why we attach that to the frame underneath. Okay, now that we've got that up through there and started, we'll clip this off. Use our ribbon tail to put over the zip tie so that's not visible. And then I usually take my other end, and since I started here, I know that I want to end here. And then that lets me know how many lights I have to work with to fill in and try to make sure that I get it even all the way around. So I'm going to do the same thing I just did, only on this other side. I'm going to attach it. I'm going to actually leave this end light down where it's visible, and I'm going to attach up higher from it. Do it underneath where this ribbon tail lays, so again I can hide the zip tie. Down in there. I'll go back out the other side. Okay. Now, holding my light, I'm just going to zip my tie. Making sure that I have the light on the end about where I want it before I tighten it completely. Mine is laying right here, so right behind these hearts, right at the base of the V of the sign. Snip that off and put our ribbon tail back over there. Okay, so this is about how much I have. I'm going to go ahead and attach up here at the top. Now I'm going to just attach this the same way all the way around. Yeah, right about it. This is about the middle of what we have to work with. So I'm going to attach this at the top. probably do 2 more zip ties and kind of leave the lights just floating. Oh, I'd already used that one. Tighten that down good and snug, because we want our lights, once we get them positioned so that they're displayed evenly, we don't want them to move around, because then we'll end up messing up all that we just achieved. Okay, use my ribbon tail there, so you can't really even see that one. Okay, so now I'm just going to probably do 1 more on each side. Decide where, I'm not sure where I want to place it yet, so I'll keep doing this, figuring this out. I think I'm going to just keep it close to the sign and attach it right in underneath this on this side. Again, I'm up underneath of a ribbon tail, so you won't see the pipe clean or the zip tie. I keep confusing the two. Make sure I have equal amounts on the top and the bottom before I tighten it down. It off, my tail. Now what I will probably do is put some lights in these, or some batteries, I mean, to see how it looks with the way that I've put it in here, and adjust it as it needs to be. It's hard to really do a final adjustment of the lights unless you can see what they look like when they're lit up. So again, over on this side, I'm basically attaching opposite of the letters on the sign. That will vary, however, depending on what your sign looks like, what size your wreath is, and what size your sign is. Okay, so we're just going to go through the mesh. Make sure you put enough of the mesh in the pipe cleaner that it's going to hold. The mesh can tear. You don't want that to happen. Not make sure it was even before I tightened. There we go. I was still able to move it, even though it wasn't easy. I could pull it through. I'm just going to tuck the lights around the sign and hopefully light up the sign nicely. Okay, and that is it. That's the finished product, ready to go to my customer. Again, this will be available in my Etsy shop. I have the materials to make, I believe it's 2 more of these, so if anybody's interested in purchasing it as opposed to making it, the link to my Etsy shop is on the live video, and I will also include it in the comments after. If you want to purchase just the sign, that you could do that as well. It's available in my Etsy shop. And if you could, please, if you're watching on replay, type replay into the comments so that I know you were able to watch it. And if you want, please do feel free to give me any feedback or suggestions to help me improve as I am learning to do these videos. And if you could like or share or comment, that would be very helpful to me in growing my page. And please follow me over on Facebook at karlaskleverkrafts, all spelled with a K, all one word. Thank you, and have a great day.